two P's, two T's. Man, fellas, always joined by my brothers Carlos and Randy. How y'all fellas doing today?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Happy to be here.
Good. Thankful and grateful.
Thankful and grateful.
Yes,
Thankful and grateful. I like it.
And we got a special guest in tonight. We got Alan Green. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show, baby.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Finally, y'all got me in the building.
For those that don't know who you are, man.
Episode.
We up there.
Yeah, we up there.
For those that don't know who you are, man, tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are.
Where do I start, man? I'll say it like this. Of course, for you all that don't know me, I'm here in Chattanooga. I've been here my whole life. Very, very community-driven, family-driven, friend-driven, family-oriented. All about service to the people and uplifting the community.
All right.
It's probably more he can add to that. You know, you can go on and on about Alan Green.
Well, yeah, that's when you get into all the bad stuff.
We won't do that.
We won't do that.
Not on camera.
Nah.
Well, let's do a well check. Randy, how you doing?
Man, I have been kind to myself.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. What does that consist of?
I've just been kind to myself. Whatever that looks like.
Anything new? You know, you're doing yoga now and
Not yet. But I'm looking into it. That and acupuncture.
Okay. And you drinking any coffees, teas, anything?
Nah, I ain't got that far into it
Not
yet.
that far.
No. I just figured I'd come up with some new shit today.
What about you, Carlos?
I'm chilling now, man. Early on, later on last week and then early on in this week or whatever, man, I was feeling a little heavy, the state of the world and the country right now, everything going on, man. And the two young men, one unfortunately lost his life and the other one was convicted of murder. Two totally different scenarios, but just going through social media and that was my fault.
Yeah.
Right. Doom scrolling, man, and just seeing all the ugly in people and what people had to say and how they had to feel, man. Again, it's easy to get on that keyboard and type away and say what you feel or whatever versus saying something to somebody's face and getting your chin checked, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of adults need that, I feel like, nowadays.
Yeah, I try to stay away from it. Anytime I'm scrolling on Facebook or any social media and I see something, I just scroll right past it because it's depressing, man.
It is, man.
It's depressing.
Can be.
It's sending you down a rabbit hole for real. So what are we drinking on today? Goodness. Excuse me. What are we drinking on today?
Sound like you need some soda water.
I know, right? Alka-Seltzer.
Soda water.
Yeah.
Is that new for you?
No, I don't need that. Do not have a problem with my A1C.
What you drinking on, Randy?
Yeah, what you drinking on, Randy?
I just got a little Tito's in here with some blackberries, some fresh blackberries.
Okay.
That's
Fresh
blackberry.
Organic, ain't it?
That's it.
Hey, I like that.
Just trying to be healthy, man. You know.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
I was being kind to myself.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Nigga so big.
I won't be drinking no time soon. I'm gonna tell you that.
What you drinking on, Dane?
Man, I got one of the things from Vernon, the RTDs. It's the Espresso Martini. I can't remember the brand it is.
The cut water?
No, it ain't. It ain't.
Beatbox.
Beatbox.
I hope it ain't.
Buzzball.
I hope it ain't.
I thought the cut water was the one that did come with the espresso.
I thought it was
It might have been. So I'm gonna have a headache tomorrow if it ain't one.
Take a couple of Tylenols or something.
Drink your water, man.
Drink your water. What about you? Carlos?
I'm sipping on infused rum, man, with maple, peach, and cinnamon in it. It was a birthday gift that's made from me, from someone special.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, before we jump into Al and his story and A.C.E.S, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Rise Chattanooga. That's 2901 Taylor Street. Shout out Shane Morrow.
Yes, sir. Fin.
Also with Boom Market at 2420 Glass Street and Old Post Beverage, 3472 Battlefield Parkway. So tell them Sipp N-Chatt sent you. And definitely want to give a shout out to Nooga Podcast, Cliff Allen and the crew. Taking us to another level when it comes to this podcast.
Right. We on camera, mama.
We on camera.
We're gonna be on TV.
So I wanted to get Al here today. He just finished up a series at one of the local centers talking about A.C.E.S, adverse childhood experiences.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. So Al, just kind of for those who don't know what A.C.E.S is, just kind of give us a story, not a story, but tell us what A.C.E.S is and how you kind of got started in it.
So what A.C.E.S is, A.C.E.S, adverse childhood experiences, is any encounter, traumatic experience, or adverse experience that a child experienced before the age of 18. And that can be, and it's 3 areas where it's household dysfunction, emotional abuse, or physical abuse. So those are pretty much the 3 areas where you would look at when you're talking about adverse experiences. And when you're talking about parents being incarcerated, substance abuse, alcoholism, emotional neglect, sexually abused, all those things would fall under that traumatic experience. And it even been expanded to bullying, encountering bullying, or being, encountering somebody that's been racist towards you, or living in poverty. All those things plays a part with the A.C.E.S thing. So the higher your A.C.E.S score is, and there's a scoring sheet that they use, the higher your score is, then the more likely your risk of outcomes become. And what the risk of outcomes look like is, like, let's just say joining a gang, selling drugs, dropping out of school, being sexually promiscuous, being socially awkward. People don't think about that part. Or even just, again, not graduating high school, not able to make the right decisions. So those tend to be the outcomes. Now, it don't mean that it's destiny. It just, when you look at the statistics, that's what it lines up with. When you encounter somebody that has a A.C.E.S score through the roof, it may seem like on the other end that, man, they should be in the gang. They should be locked up, or something should be wrong with them. And a lot of times those people may have got help along the way, to where somebody created a buffer system to counter and mitigate A.C.E.S along the way, to where it don't show up in their adulthood. Of course, there's still some remnants of the things that they went through, but
The triggers.
what I have noticed also is people that has experienced a lot of traumatic experiences as a kid, they show up in a different way, to where they pose a lot more resiliency as they get older. So the way I got involved in A.C.E.S, I had just came out of a group home. I was still in college. So my social worker, her name was Rosalind Lavelle Rice, and she worked for the state dealing with youth, state of our youth, things like that. And she had a meeting with the governor at the time, and she said, "I need you to come to this meeting at Belter Bible Village." And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, we're going to have state legislators here, and they're going to be talking about state of our youth, specifically kids that are in group homes and foster care." And so when I was there, they started talking about the A.C.E.S model. So I said, "This is very interesting." And she told me more about it. And then from that point, she ended up getting me linked up with the state of Tennessee to get trained, which is, at that time, it was training people in Strong Brains, Tennessee, which is when it was really rolling out the A.C.E.S model, putting it out there. It's 2-day training by the state, 8 hours each day. And it really dug really, really deep into what it's all about. How can we mitigate A.C.E.S, prevent it? How can we foster resilience and all that stuff? So that's how I ended up getting into it, because the more I researched it, I started to notice a whole lot about it, and how the things I went through played a part and helped me understand the why behind the what. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times people say, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Instead of asking what happened. What happened? Why is this occurring? So if I can understand why it's occurring, then I can help mitigate or counter the what. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah. So that leads to my question, like, why should every parent, every teacher, every like community leader, mentor, why should they know and learn about A.C.E.S when they developing these programs, or even in just interacting with kids?
Well, it's like this, man. It's like being a coach, right? We're talking about sports, and you're trying to develop your players. You get these players, they come from all over the country, out of high school, middle school, whatever, even NBA, and you're trying to develop them. But if you don't understand what their needs are, why is it this player is traveling so much? Why is it that they only want to go right and not go left? So you have to start digging deep down and say, okay, maybe they had some things along the way to where when they tried to go left, it didn't work out for them. It was a problem. It's a roadblock every single time. So when we get these youth serving organizations or people that's developing programs for kids and don't really understand the trauma behind the kid or what the kid has went through, then you develop programs that don't become conducive for that kid. Every kid don't need somebody to get them a talk or a pep talk about self-awareness, or every kid don't need you to take them swimming. So you have to really, really start figuring out, okay, what is it? What is the language? What is the behavior? What is the functioning of the behavior? And sometimes I've been guilty of myself where I walk into a room and I identify a kid that I think I relate to because the way they look, and don't really take the time to figure out, well, what is it that these kids need from me? What programs do I need to develop for them? And that's part of becoming trauma informed. You have to know, what's been going on in the kid's life, right, even with adults. When adults go into these facilities, they say when you go to jail, it's supposed to be a rehabilitation, a prison, and the people come out of jail or prison the same way, or even not worse.
Right.
Because they don't really understand what they've been dealing with, where these people come from as kids. So at that point, if we develop programs without understanding the adverse experiences that a person may have experienced before the age of 18, then we're going to continue to treat symptoms and not the root of the matter.
Yeah. Why was 18 the magic number?
Because between that 18 is when the brain is, of course, 0 to 5, 0 to 7, more plastic, plastic where it can mold and change. And then when they go through puberty, mold and change. So about that 18, a lot of parts of the brain are pretty much developed.
Okay.
They can develop even farther, but it's going to be harder. So, they always say at 18, you're a fully grown adult, and most of your parts of your brain are fully developed, right, to say.
But that was at the frontal lobe?
Yeah, frontal lobe, the prefrontal cortex,
right,
is what they really point to a lot of with the A.C.E.S model.
Okay.
So it can change past 18 or even older, but the way you look at the model is the older you get, the harder it is for the brain to change or your habits to change.
Okay.
And it's going to take more resources, i.e. more money, and we know how that's going to go.
Right.
So when it comes to A.C.E.S, like when did it first start? Like where did it come from?
I think it's been around. I became privy to it back in 2000, I want to say 15, 14. But I think it's been around well before that because they did a study with the Kaiser Permanente study where they did a survey of like middle-aged college students, and they was predominantly white, if not all white middle-aged college students that didn't come from adverse backgrounds. And so when they did the study, it showed that they had A.C.E.S scores between 1 and 2. So that's when it all started. And I can't remember exactly when they did that study.
Yeah. And what is the range? You said between 1 and 2. What is the full range?
So 1 and 2, that's the low end, your A.C.E.S score.
Okay.
It can go all the way up to 10, 12, 15, depending on what the adverse experiences that you have encountered. Some people like say, if you grew up in an adverse environment, of course you surrounded by drugs, gangs, physical abuse, mom incarcerated or dad incarcerated, substance abuse, emotional abuse, sexually misled, sexually abused. So it can go a long stretch. So the more scores you have in that A.C.E.S, then the more chances that you're gonna have some unhealthy outcomes.
What about like growing up in a divorce home or single family home, death, if you
that's one of them. That's actually divorce. It's probably the top 2 areas that they look at that causes a higher percentage of having an A.C.E.S score is the divorce, where a lot of kids, especially if you grew up in a home where both of your parents was married, versus we're not talking about a blended family. We're talking about where you was born and your parents, and you saw them married, and then they get a divorce. How that takes a toll on the kid. That creates an A.C.E.S score for you or an adverse experience because you can imagine that's all you know. And then mom and dad is splitting. And, you see it all the time where a kid becomes reclusive and it leads to suicide or it leads to drinking. It leads to substance abuse. So one thing triggers another thing. Even in a single parent household where you didn't grow up with your father or your mother. And studies have shown that a one parent household puts you closer to the poverty level. Mm-hmm. And then when the mother is in the home and the father's not in the home, it puts you even more closer to the poverty level. Right. Then with the kid, as you know, depending on if it's a son growing up with just a mom, the dynamics that creates.
Okay. I heard you speak earlier about being an advocate of the community. Like, what led you, to want to serve and give back to the community?
I think it started for me when I first got put in the group home.
Okay.
Because before then, of course, I was just going through life. I was in the foster home, and I didn't really think about serving the community. I was just in the foster home, doing my things as a teenager. But when I went to Bethel Bible Village, the more I thought about it, and the more I growed out of my situation. It was like when I first got there, I kind of was like I was really depressed, didn't want to be there. I thought about running away, and I knew if I ran away, I couldn't go to school no more. I couldn't play sports. So once I stayed in the group home, started playing basketball, became the captain of the basketball team, captain of the football team, ran track, and I noticed how important that was to the people I grew up around.
Mm-hmm.
When they seen me when I came back to the project to visit them, it made them like really happy. Like, man, you're doing so great, man. We proud of you. We're happy, man. You're an inspiration for us. So, with that said, I knew then that I had a responsibility, and people was really watching and depending on me and my family.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started tapping into, man, you know what? It's bigger than me. It's
Right.
bigger than me being in a
Not
group
knowing
home.
that you had that audience.
Yeah, it's
outside
bigger.
looking in.
It was
Yeah.
bigger. And that's when I really started saying, you know what? I have to, it's an obligation to give back.
Okay.
So I remember last week you had kind of talked about the A.C.E.S and the effect it has on you physically. And you mentioned earlier today, but like how can that trauma affect your physical health?
That's good that you asked that question, because for years, doctors would not ask about what your childhood was like. They wouldn't ask. They'll screen you for high blood pressure. They'll screen you for cardiovascular disease, and they'll give you a diagnosis just from that. But they wouldn't ask, well, what did you go through as a kid?
Right.
Why are you presenting these symptoms? And you're healthy.
Yeah.
And I always ask, well, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you eat unhealthy foods? And people say, no, I don't. So why am I having high blood pressure? I'm not stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that your body remembers. How they say the body keeps score.
Okay.
And that's a real thing. So now doctors have to screen you for your A.C.E.S to try to help figure out, well, okay, this is why you've been presenting with these symptoms. So with A.C.E.S, it's called, with the chronic stress. Chronic stress releases, high levels of cortisol, right?
Okay.
And it is dangerous to your health. It messes up your nervous system, especially if we're talking about little kids when the brain is developing, the prefrontal cortex is developing. High levels of stress and chronic stress, it makes it to where the prefrontal cortex do not develop properly or fully, which means that kid won't have a tight control of their emotions and their self-regulations, which means as they become older and those things don't get redirected to where they can develop the right way, then that's when we get adults that just flies off the handle. Don't know how to handle conflict, don't know how to talk to people, don't know how to handle multiple streams of information and take it and decipher it or interpret it. And then, it becomes a health issue.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to manage stress, that turns into, it creates cancer cells, So those are things. I was reading a book called Toxic Emotions. Toxic emotions. And that's where, like I said, if you're dealing with chronic stress and it's not being mitigated or prevented, you will start to feel sick.
Mm.
You will get migraines. You will develop all these different situations. And again, just think about a child that's born to a parent, right? A parent that's living in the projects or anywhere that has a adverse environment. The parent is being beat on. The parent is in poverty. The parent is financially pretty much non-existent. Don't have food, the right resources. Now she's pregnant with a kid that's receiving everything she's receiving before it's even born. All the stress levels, cortisol being released into the parent's body that's being released into that child. Now that child is born underdeveloped with those same issues that the parent has and wasn't even here to experience it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they already behind the 8 ball.
So talk about the mice test.
Oh, with the so that was a one in part of the training where we was and that's with the epigenetics piece. And what epigenetics is where pretty much intergenerational transmission, traumatic transmission. And what that is what I experience, or my parents or my grandparents' experience can be passed down through intergenerational transmission. Even though I never experienced what they went through a day in my life, it can show up in my behavior.
Mhm.
And I don't know why it's showing up. Or as parents, we may not know why things are showing up in our kids. So with the mouse situation, the mice experiment, what they did was they took parental mice and they presented them with strawberries, and then they shocked them.
Mhm.
When they smelled the strawberry, they shocked them. So they kept doing that for a while to now they took the shock away and they presented them with just the strawberries. And now the mice behaved like they was being shocked.
Hmm.
Because now they symbolize
They're shocking with that
with the strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
So the offspring didn't witness the experiment at all. At all. They presented the offspring with strawberries and they behaved like they was being shocked.
Hmm.
Didn't witness the experiment, didn't get shocked, but through the intergenerational transmission of the traumatic experiences, they was able to feel that. Because what happens in epigenetics is we don't change we can't change genes, right? We can't change them. But stress and traumatic experience can alter the coding of that gene.
Okay.
So if I'm outspoken or I have a genetic trait to be outspoken, my parents were outspoken, my great-grandparents were outspoken, but somewhere down the line, they were suppressed to be quiet and silent. Then it can show up in me to be quiet and silent.
Right.
And then they can show up in my kids to be quiet and silent, even though they have these genetic traits to be outspoken.
Right.
But because of the intergenerational transmission, that plays a whole part with the epigenetics.
Yeah. So that's
crazy.
That can be. Yeah. So at some point along the line, that can be broken.
Yes.
But it would have to be within the mindset of the individual.
Recognize it.
Right. The individual has to recognize what's going on with themselves. That's where that self-awareness piece. So the way the triangle looks, it has at the bottom is conception, birth, and then at birth, then it has A.C.E.S, then it has neurodevelopment, and then it goes up all the way to death. Then on the other side of the triangle is where your death, things that you encounter, is being passed down in the generational transmission to the offspring.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be broken. That cycle. That's why we talk about breaking the cycle. People think breaking the cycle is just physical. Nah, it's a mentality, and we have to use a 2 to 3 generational approach. What that means is we got to get the parent, the child, and then look for the child's child to break the cycle of that 2 to 3 generational, because that's how hard it is. Like, even though people look and think, man, he's well put together, man, he's awesome, he's doing great. People don't understand underneath I still have to battle my traumatic experience.
Right.
I have to work really hard.
Yeah.
So that I can change those genetic codings that's been pressed on me from my parents and great-grandparents and grandparents.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And you explain basically quality of life and how it affects you, quality of life. But tell us about relationships and career paths and how it affects you in those areas.
So it can have you. Let's just say, like with me, growing up in the projects, and I always use myself because I can relate to myself more than anything else. Right. Growing up in the projects, mom was on drugs, dad was on drugs. I can't recall when my dad was in the house. I can't. I remember going to see him a lot at my grandparents' house. But everybody in the projects knew my mom was on crack. Everybody knew she was out there doing things for drugs. Everybody knew we was the dirty kids, the poor kids in the project. It wasn't a secret. So with that said, your interaction with your peers was different than how you interacted with your peers that had the Jordans, got a haircut every Friday on time, or you knew they was going home to get a good meal, or the first day of school, they got the new clothes, first school clothes. You was treated differently. And the girls, you know how that went. They wanted the guys that was popular.
Right.
Because if you had the items and materials, you were popular.
Right.
Christmas, everybody would come to your house. So for me, I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. So what I had started doing was I started suppressing my potential. I was always smart. Smartest guy in the class. I was more athletic than most of the guys in my class, but I would hide. Okay. When it was time to play, I wouldn't want to play because I was looking at the guys, what they had materialistic-wise, and I didn't think about, I'm smarter than them or I'm better than them at sports. Right. So I would hide behind all these things, or I would shy away. I wouldn't engage in conversations to where I had to defend myself because of what I knew I lacked. So that's the thing about that. So over time, even going into adulthood, I had to deal with that because it was to a point where like, you know what, it don't matter. I don't need to step out front. I don't even want to get this job where I got to be out front, where I got to talk to people, where I got to show up for myself. And that makes it easier for a person that won't get over that or recover from that type of setup to go, well, I'm going to be a drug dealer. I'm going to be the best drug dealer I can be because I don't have to go out here and showcase all these other skills that they say you got to have. I don't feel comfortable even going to school because I dropped school in the 6th grade. Now imagine if I didn't recover from that because somebody played a buffer for me and got me back, I would probably been somewhere else. Who knows? But all that played a part to where I was able to get on a good trajectory and get in a good career. Like even now, as a 41-year-old man in the fire department, I do things intentionally so I don't fall back into that imposter syndrome like I don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to do these things for myself so I keep my mind straight to like, now you belong exactly where you are. You are exactly who you say you are. And I have to make sure I protect when people try to say I'm not a certain way. And I have to say, no, I had to keep telling myself because it can have you not being the best version of yourself or showing up for yourself like you should if you don't get over those traumatic experiences and deal with all the hurt and heal from it. And I was watching a movie the other day, and they say when you bury hurt, unhealed hurt and trauma, it keeps living.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can't know exactly where I heard that from, but I wrote it down. And that's true.
Yeah.
For a long time, I buried hurt and I buried pain that was still very much alive.
Right.
And if I didn't deal with it, it could have affected me in my career.
It was going to
because when we go into these rooms with people that don't look like us, we start thinking, I don't belong here.
Right.
Why I need to go in here? Why I need to stand up and talk? Why do my voice need to be heard? I don't even belong here. I come from this place. My mom was on dope. What I got to talk about?
Right.
They come from a two-person home. They got this, they got that. Look at them. That can be affecting your, like say, your career path and what you decide to do. You won't show up for yourself in the best way.
Yeah. I know you spoke about that thing that you do as far as your career, but did you go to school for public speaking or just what did you go to school for?
I went, when I first got to UTC, I was going there to be a social worker.
Go Mox.
Yeah, go Mox. So I was actually on the track to be a social worker because I had so many social workers while I was in the system. And I said, this is it.
Yeah.
Because they helped me. They made an impression on me. And I said, this is what I would like to do. I want to help kids that's coming from where I'm coming from, been in the group home, been in state schools, been in all these things. Let me be a social worker too. But when I wrote my English 121 paper, we had to do an interview on the social worker. And I said, nah, this ain't going to be it. Because the turnover rate was so high. And I said, I don't want to do that. The caseload was high, taking cases home. I said, nah, so how can I still serve the community in whatever capacity that looks like? So I switched to a pre-med track for be a dentist. So I said, well, I could still be a dentist. I'd be a black man. I can still serve the community. But then I switched over to, still stayed on pre-med for podiatrist though.
Okay.
So I stayed on that track for a while till I kind of got tired of school because it was rough. So I ended up graduating years and years later. After I joined the fire department, went back and got my degree in chemistry and minor in biology.
We don't talk about the...
but that's what he do.
We don't talk about that thing.
That's what he
What?
do. Yeah, well, he's one of us.
But that's what he do.
What?
We don't talk about that thing that we do.
Oh.
We call it that thing that we do.
What thing?
Your career.
Oh.
Your career. It's that thing that we do.
Oh, the thing that we do.
Yeah, but we don't talk about it. We don't call it out name verbatim.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. That thing that we do.
That thing that we do.
Yeah.
I called it. Well, excuse me, it's my first time here.
Hey, welcome. Right.
Hey, thank you for the house rules.
I got you.
But yeah, so that thing that we do.
And we know this is an important topic. So I let you slide when on the pause when you was like dig deeper.
He did say that
because it's a serious.
It
subject,
really is.
So
It really
say
is. Time and a place.
Yeah, it's a time and place, and it wasn't. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm catching no one. Oh,
we have serious conversations, but sometimes we digress.
Yeah.
And regress.
Well, I'm catching. Well, don't get me started there. That thing we do, it turn into the. We gonna do the thing
and keep the main thing the main
thing. So that's how I kind of got, graduating college with the degree in chemistry, mind, and biology.
Okay.
But I had my sons while I was in college, and I knew I needed a job, like a career job, because my sons was getting older, and I was like, man, I don't want to go to med school, and I'm gonna be in debt. Got to go off to med school. There was no med school close to Chattanooga like that.
Gotcha.
So I said, I got to get a job. And that's when I started looking at the fire department or the military, National Guard, so I can stay close. And so it happened, I got hired on with doing what I do now.
That thing that we do.
Yeah, the thing that we do now. So, and it's worked out, man.
Yeah,
it's
good
worked
deal,
out. I
man.
think this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that purpose and that, along with your passion as
Right.
far as serving.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
you mentioned something about your kids. From your upbringing to their upbringing, it's totally different. But what are some of the things that you implement as a father, that wasn't there when you was coming up?
Well, I tell you, being present.
Being present. That's
Being present, man. That's the biggest thing that we can do. It's being present. It ain't about the money. It ain't about anything else but being there with them and listening. And it really hit me in the face.
wow.
See that? I'm not gonna let you slide on that one. Pause. I ain't gonna let you slide
Y'all need
on that.
therapy, man. Y'all need therapy,
They
bro.
really- they really do.
Our ACE level is probably 8,
Y'all
9.
need therapy. I know. I can tell y'all need therapy, man.
I bet you Clint would say the same
He
thing.
said hit him in the,
Y'all need
he
therapy,
said hit him in
man.
the face, didn't it?
So they both
Boing, boing.
graduated.
Boing.
They both graduated a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Different
Cool,
schools.
man. Good deal. Congratulations.
Shout out
Appreciate
Christian
that.
and Caleb.
And I was able to make both graduations. My dad didn't make any of my graduations besides when I came into the department. And that's because I went and got him.
Okay.
So that tells you the level of presence he showed.
Mm-hmm.
None, if not, at all.
Yeah. Right.
So I would say being present. I've always instilled that, made that a part of my life for them to know that I'm going to be there regardless.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to leave the job to come, if I've been out of town, like they just turned 18 last Saturday, and I spent the whole week away for professional development. I was wore out, tired. I had an hour to spare to get off the plane, run to the store, come back home, and get things ready for their 18th birthday party.
These are twins.
Twins, right. So just that big part for me is just being present, and it really resonated with me because my father wasn't present at all. But I didn't want to be like him. I wanted to be better than what he was.
Yeah.
In all senses of what it means to be a father. And that's been the biggest factor for me in driving force in a lot of how I interact with my sons. And I remember having the conversations with my cousins about overcompensating for the lack of having a father in my
Right.
life. We
It's a
do
real
that.
thing.
It's a
Mhm.
real thing. And you can mess up by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You can mess up. And I had to pull back to make sure that I wasn't ruining my relationship with them, but I was still able to be a father with them and give them the real tools and not just give them whatever and just be okay because my father wasn't around. I'm gonna let you get away with whatever. I'm gonna give you whatever and not teach them real life skills.
Right.
So with that, are there some things, when we talk about ACEs and the knowledge that you have, and your score versus their score, are there some things what are some things that parents can do to try to build that resilience in their kids?
Well, with my sons, they both have experienced their own set of ACEs that really didn't have anything to do with me. But the world we live in now, it presents totally different problems and issues.
Right.
So throughout their years up until 18, they have brought things to me. I've known about stuff, and I had to help them build or bounce back from it in a different way than I would have.
Right.
Coming from Alton Park Projects, we was taught somebody call you out your name, somebody got to get slapped. Somebody
So
provoke.
open hand, front or back hand.
Any one of them. It's going to be pimp slapped or you're going to be just slapped.
Keep people.
Get punched. It's going to be some fighting words.
Keep your hands strong.
We was taught that. Well, since you call me one, show me I'm one. That type of error. But then that was the way I was taught. And I always thought kind of like that even as an adult because I was bullied and picked on as a kid. Then I said, once I get grown, and developed this mentality. It ain't happening. Win, lose, or draw. It ain't going down like that. And I started to teach my sons those same habits. Don't let nobody call you out your name. You got to fight. You got to do this. But then I thought about it. I said, that ain't the right way to handle it, because I'm not teaching them how to be socially regulated or emotionally regulated.
Yeah.
I said, that ain't the right way when you become a grown man in this world. So I had to start reprogramming them in a way to think, no, don't be that way. And I remember they used to get angry with me, man, you soft. No. I'm trying to tell you something, because I don't want you to go out here in the way things are now. People don't just fight. That's over with. So they experience their own situations. My sons, they've been bullied. They have bullied people. They've been, into altercations, fights. They've been pretty much left out of groups because they wouldn't do certain things. So as a father, I had to step in and say, hey, listen, this is how we recover. Yeah. This is how we bounce back from this. It ain't the end of the world. How can I support you? I remember one night my son called me crying. It's about 11:30. He crying because he didn't think he was going to be able to play football anymore because some things happened. And I had to mitigate that situation right on the spot. Right. It wasn't no, man, well, let me talk about it tomorrow. No, I got to get up out my sleep and let's see how I can get you back in a stable mindset. Okay. Yeah. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Right.
And as a father, I'm like, inside, I'm like, I'm breaking, because I'm like, what do I do? Right. This is what he loved to do. And he's breaking right here in real time. And I'm trying to navigate and help him bounce back right now.
In real time.
Real time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. So you do a lot of, and you've been doing a lot of things in Chattanooga in the communities. But the knowledge with the A.C.E.S, what does informed Chattanooga look like to you? A.C.E.S informed Chattanooga, what does that look like to you?
I would say A.C.E.S informed Chattanooga would look like, if we're looking at metrics and real data, we will see a big decrease in our school system with the suspension rate. Of course, you're going to have kids that still get suspended, but I think a lot of our educators don't really understand what a lot of these kids go through. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. Yeah. And then just Chattanooga as a whole, we don't talk about it enough. Mm-hmm. We don't. And I talk about this stuff all the time. And I'm around other youth serving organizations. I'm around principals, and I'm asking questions intentionally. And it's always, well, we're going to see, we need that in the school. You need it in the school. It should have been here. Right. Even down at the downtown. We know what downtown is at. That thing that we answer to. Yeah. Putting it out there. And I remember reading a program or pilot program that was getting ready to get pushed out. Mm-hmm. Every Child Initiative. And in there, it was to get every youth serving organization trained in A.C.E.S. And I have yet to see that be pushed out again. So are we serious about it? I don't know. But to see A.C.E.S informed or trauma informed Chattanooga, I think we would then see a lot of people talking about it more, how we stand on corners talking about unity, how we talking about government, how we talking about legislature, how we talk about, hey, vote for me, get out and vote, souls to the poll. I think we'll be doing the same thing, because essentially souls to the poll is a matter of life and death. If we look at it, right. Same thing with being trauma informed. It's a matter of life and death, because we still having our kids getting killed now, not just at 16 and 15, but at 12. They still joining gangs.
Mm-hmm. Is there like a group of A.C.E.S instructors or people that have
counselors?
Counselors, anything.
Is there an active program locally?
Right. To get that out there more than what it is.
That goes into the schools?
You know what? I have not come across that.
Okay.
What I do hear is some of these counselors, licensed counselors and therapists, they become A.C.E.S informed and trauma informed, and they can speak to it. But actively going into the schools, we don't have a group.
To educate people on it, it's not.
Nah, we've never had a group since I've been teaching it. Now, we had one guy that was, I believe, contracted through partnerships for families, children and families. He was going into teaching school staff and whatnot. So I don't know if they're still doing it, but it's always upon if the principal wants it.
That's just that one person.
That's one person. It ain't so like you said, to your question, it's not a group.
Yeah. Which should be overwhelming for that one person.
Right. It is. Yeah. It is. Like right now, I can honestly say I'm probably the only one that is actually doing the 3-part series of training and educating people. And And I probably need to. I'm supposed to be training a couple people, but I'm very, very particular about who I train because some people they want the training in the A.C.E.S model just for financial gain, and I can't do it that way.
Right.
I like that.
Can't do it that way.
But now let me ask you, how often, which I guess you sort of answered the question, how often do you have the classes and where do you hold the classes?
I kind of stopped doing it for a while because I kind of got off focus with it. I was like, well, these people ain't serious about it. And I lost my, just my trajectory. And I was like, I'm gonna peel back. So just this year I really got back on it and I started back developing programs.
You say you got back on it.
I'm focused, fellas. Focus. Social emotional learning, man. It's executive functioning skills, man. Those, focus. So I just started back really, really honing in on that because I started reading a lot of things and listening and say, invest in your talent, invest in what God gave you.
Right.
To be your passion. And that's why my purpose, like you said, Ren, that's why I got back to training the ACE and I became more intentional about it. Like now I reach out to the centers like, hey, listen, this is what I got to offer. What do you all think about it? Mm-hmm. And I've been blessed to be able to go and provide the 3-part series to the community centers, especially if they want it, and not have to worry about charging them for it.
Right.
But, if they really want it, then I'll come in and do it because it's super important. Yeah. And you'll be surprised. A lot of people don't know a lot about it. They really don't.
What can we do to make people more aware of this training? And whenever you have the next or hold the next class or whatever, I'd like to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Right. To make myself more aware.
Right.
Just putting it out there.
I got some scars. I'm probably rating it about 10 or 11.
Truth be told, when because you got this little score sheet, and it goes up to what, 8, 9?
Yeah, 8 or 9. And then I think on the backside it's expanded to what, about 12 or 15.
So I didn't go on the back. But of that, I had 8 of the CDs.
He probably needed to go to the back.
He probably needed to go to the phones and lay down.
Yeah.
So of the score sheet,
he probably was a 15.
I calculated my scores, and it was at a 8.
At an 8.
And I had to realize, some things that happen in your childhood you try to suppress.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. Yeah. And in that moment during that class, I was truthful with myself.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate that I came out the way I did versus, how some others came out.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely it's a great class to go to.
Yeah, when you spoke about it and gave us just a little synopsis.
The last episode. Mm-hmm.
I was as AG would say, I was horned in. I was, because I'm just like, well, damn,
stuck.
I would like to hear it.
Stuck with it.
You follow?
I got you.
But I'm like him. Like I would like to attend, the next class or the series. But then as we sit here and I hear you and you're talking about that, I'm just surprised that no one within the county. I'll say school system when I'm actually speaking of the county board, school board. Like they've never heard you give that. You haven't approached them with, because to me, across the board, we have a lot of that in the school system.
Yeah, a lot more you realize,
right? Mm-hmm. And and I don't have kids in school, but I mean, just to hear some of the kids that are in school. Like there are a lot of behavioral problems, and it could definitely be a result from, the A.C.E.S piece.
Yeah.
Not being able to put those pieces together and understand like why this kid is going through or having those issues or acting out, or as you would, as we would say.
Yeah.
I just find that kind of interesting, but I don't know if you've actually pushed it out there.
I don't think I've pushed it to the, let's say, superintendent, the head person. Right. I haven't done that. But in the schools that I've worked with, some of them have had me come in and do the 3-part series. Okay. Specifically, Calvin Donaldson, actually.
Right.
Principal Brownlee, when she was over there, she had me come in
one time
for a lunch and learn.
Yeah. One time for her.
That was awesome. And that's why, of course, I graduated from Calvin Donaldson, so I do a lot of work with them. But she was the first principal that actually invested in the 3-point series. And that's how I know it works. And that you'll hear a lot of principals say we don't have the budget for it. And I'm like, well, Camadon is one of the most underfunded schools.
Yeah.
Brownlee found money
and they figured
for
it out.
Yeah, she found money for it. And we ain't talking about it took 2 years or a year. Yeah. She did the summer before school started and wrote it in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to these schools and I'm telling them, and they know what I do, let's be honest about it. They know ain't a principal, especially in the inner city, that knows me don't know what I do.
Right.
But again, I think it's a matter of what are you really invested in? What are you really valuing?
Right.
And if for a long time, I would go to these schools and, hey, this is what I do. I would love to develop this program. They'll let me develop a program all day long for free, all day long with ease until I start taking the R out of free and charge them a fee. Now it's, well, we ain't got the budget.
R out of free is crazy.
We ain't got the budget, so we'll see about it. And it's so long you can keep trying to go that track. When I know you paying somebody else to come in here and do something
that's not even beneficial.
Ain't beneficial or effective.
Right.
And we can go on about that even with the city of Chattanooga. I've been in this game a long time watching programming, watching events, watching what's going on with our kids, going to the meetings to see the data, reading the reports, giving them my data and information. And I'm like, where are we getting?
Yeah.
So it came a point for me where I just stopped going.
Yeah.
And I don't mind telling somebody it's going to cost you this.
Absolutely.
Because I value the effort. I value the work I put in. I value the research. I value the time, my intellectual property.
Right.
I'm not just giving you my life story and my tears and my pain for free no more. That's over with.
Right.
So I think a lot of these schools, they play these games, man, to where the budget. No, you really don't want to invest.
Right.
You want it for free.
Right.
You want people to come in for free.
Right.
And something that we heard last week, and I forgot who it was that said, but we invest in what we value.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I had to think,
That's true.
we invest in what we value. And, you know, a lot of people, they talk about it, but when it comes to dollars, like, well, it ain't in the budget. When we know it's in the budget.
Right.
We know it can be in the budget.
It can be.
It can
find
be.
a way.
Yeah. It can be. Right. It can be.
So I got 4 questions for you. Just as a quick shot. What gives you hope?
What gives me hope?
You may ought to rephrase that.
No, that's it.
What gives me hope?
That.
What gives him
Hold
hope?
on, AG.
It's my question.
Hold on, AG.
It's my question.
There we go.
This ain't your show today. This our show today.
All right.
So you might ought to rephrase that.
What gives you hope?
What has given you hope?
No. What gives you hope?
So that's sounding like what gives you hope today.
Seeing ahead. What gives you hope?
Okay.
That's a good way to rephrase. Well, you just did, and I appreciate that.
All right. So here's the thing. I can answer both. So what has given me hope is being able to look back where I was in my life and where I am now. That lets me know that people can come up out of situations.
Right.
That what has given me hope to say, you know what? People can make it. It ain't about where you are now. It's about where you want to go.
Right.
And so what gives me hope is when you meet a kid that you don't even remember you spoke to in high school. Right. And this kid see you working a job or working an event, and he walk up and say, man, I remember you. And he's going to work, and he said, you saved my life. I said, what I do? What you mean? He said, something you said, you was giving a speech at our school at Brainerd, and you saved my life. That's what gives me hope. And that's what keep me going, because again, that lets me know that what I went through in my life wasn't in vain.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, like, my life is a testament to other people to give them hope. And that's why I actually named the nonprofit Pain, Perseverance, Character, Hope. So what you go through, your adversities, your trials, your struggles, whatever, and you persist through that, or you persevere through it, it creates that characteristic aspect of, you know, you can make it. You know, it creates that mentality of, I'm going to be successful.
Right.
So when people look back and say, well, Al came from the projects, his mom was on dope, dad on dope, both parents in jail, dropped out of school in 6th grade, put in the foster home, group home, sexually molested, talked about, bullied, picked on, father went around, and look what he had now.
Persevered.
If he done it, why I can't come out of the prize out of West Side, out of East Lake and make it?
Yeah, because it's never too late.
Right.
And brother, I want to say right here and now, I'm proud of you. I've heard your story. I've sat back and watched the tracks you've laid to where you are today or whatever. And if you've never heard it, if you hadn't heard it today or whatever, I'm proud of you, brother. Love you.
He heard it because I told him.
You are an amazing. Randy would be on that bullshit. You are an amazing person.
You are.
And your legacy is going to live on way beyond your heart and your lungs. And there's going to be people, just like you said, with the young person that came up to you and said that whatever you did at Brainerd changed their life.
Right.
That's currency that you can't take to the bank.
Yeah.
And you can't put a price on it. A lot of people walk this planet and they never really have an effect on somebody else that's positive.
Yeah.
And knowing that you've done that, not just for one or two or whatever, but for several across the city, that could otherwise have gone down the wrong track. So much appreciation to you, much love to you, proud of you, love you. You that dude.
Man, listen, I appreciate y'all, man. Just that circle. Y'all, and I say this here and now, but just having that circle of support. Like, for real. Y'all brothers, man, I tell, like I said, man, it's a lot of things that y'all may not know, Dane may know, but just when I come around, just to have good brothers around to pour into you, especially older brothers. You know what I'm saying? I got an older brother too.
Slow down with the older.
That's why I say older. I ain't say old. That's why I said older.
Okay.
You can be 1 year older. I'm gonna call you older.
He the youngest one, but in the worst shape.
Right. So, it's needed, man. It's needed. That's why when I go to places, I tell people I got a hell of a support cast back home.
Yeah.
Like,
you do,
I know. I don't think nobody got a better support cast than me. I'm just gonna tell it.
Good deal. You had 3 more questions.
Yeah. The next one is, what's one thing that you wish people knew about A.C.E.S?
Well, I'll give you 2. One, how prevalent it is, and that A.C.E.S don't care nothing about what color you are. There's a misconception that A.C.E.S only targets black people. That is not correct.
Yeah.
And it ain't about black or white. It's about the haves and the have-nots. Even when you got the wealth, there are A.C.E.S found in the wealth. Right. You know, in the richest homes, in the wealthiest homes, it's there. They may not talk about it, but it's there. And 2, A.C.E.S is not destiny, meaning just because you went through a whole lot of stuff in your life that wasn't conducive to you being successful, that don't mean that's who you have to be and have to become.
Mm-hmm.
It's not destiny. You can change the trajectory, but you're going to need some help along the way.
And that was going to be my next question, the misconception, and I think you answered that, about A.C.E.S doesn't have, a skin color, or a certain group. So my final question to you, if somebody is listening to this
or watching it,
video now, and just kind of realize with themselves that they have trauma or they've experienced trauma or they're struggling with it, what's something that you would tell them?
One, I would say it ain't over. Every day alive is an opportunity to live. And get therapy. Go to therapy. Get some help so you can do that shadow work, get that deep reflection, gain some clarity about yourself, get that self-awareness piece. Because again, I go back to this. You cannot bury hurt and pain that's still alive.
Right.
You got to kill it. The only way to kill it is you got to get some help. You got to do the work to do it because it ain't going to die on its own.
Right,
you can put it in a black box and hope it go away. You trust, believe it's going to come back up. So my advice, get some therapy. I went to therapy about 2 months ago and still cried about things with my father. Still cried. Man been dead 3-4 years now. But again, I didn't kill it when he was alive to talk to him about stuff that I need to talk to him about.
To get those answers.
Right, to get answers or to tell him how I really felt.
Yeah.
He don't know how I feel. He gone, so get therapy and just know that it ain't over. It ain't over.
Good. Randy, you got a finishing quote for us?
I do, but this time there's going to be 6.
6.
So
6 quotes?
There are going to be 6 tips.
6
So
tips.
when I get to the
Six tips.
so
That boy.
so after
Six
the
tips.
sixth one,
He said he had 4 earlier.
I need
Gas station. Put the tip.
I need y'all to kind of, don't let
We
it
running
just
a
be
good
so,
time house or something.
don't let it be so dead
He's a whore.
after the fact. But on a serious note, 6 tips for building mental resilience. View challenges as opportunities for growth.
Yes.
Focus on solutions rather than problems.
Mm.
Build a strong, trusting relationships. Prioritize self-care for better energy.
Sir.
Adapt quickly to change and uncertainty. And number 6, reflect on setbacks to improve future actions.
Can you send that to me?
I can.
Please. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's
good.
it right there. I'm put that on my
Good job,
mirror.
Rand.
Hey, I'm on.
Good job,
Y'all know
Rand.
he philosophical.
Fin.
He done sent me some
Philosophical
few things.
Rand.
Tell him again, AG.
He done sent me the few
Thank you,
thing
sir.
that got me
Thank
through the
you.
morning.
Responsible Randy is back.
Yeah.
He's back.
Hey, I'm about to tell you, I'm spirit.
It ain't Roll
Yeah.
Randy no more.
I'm
It ain't
spirit.
Roll Randy.
He said Rogue Randy.
Rogue Randy. But Al, I thank you, man. I appreciate you coming
man.
on with
Yeah,
us
we
today. I think you know how we all feel about you. That ain't never
no
been
secret,
questioned.
man.
Yeah, ain't no secret.
No,
you know.
Yeah, I ain't got to second guess none of that.
Yeah. And not just you, these brothers right here, man. They came down to celebrate with us last
Yeah,
week.
congratulations to y'all, man, on your new graduation,
Yeah,
man.
It's
a good button right there.
it's a lot of people that I appreciate, but y'all three right here, I really appreciate and got much love for y'all. So just thank y'all for being who you are and just keep
Yes,
that
sir.
and for y'all out there listening, take heed to everything that Al said and just look in the mirror. Just think deep about, your ACES score. So Al, just to kind of where can people find you? P.P.C.H. Just leave them with that right there before we close out.
They can contact me via email, ppchinc@gmail.com, or you can visit the website, ppchinc.org. You can go in there, you view a lot of different things. You can get in touch with me that way, donate, request workshops, request presentations, request engagement speaking or motivation speaking sessions. So those are the 2 ways that I know you can get in touch with me for sure.
Awesome. Is there a website for the ACES for people that may want to participate in that may not be local or
you know what,
somewhere else or whatever?
You just gave me a good idea. No, thank you.
Hey, I want my royalties.
Yeah,
I want my royalties. You better give
y'all
me.
Y'all got the podcast, so y'all the tech guys. So we got to
give
work
me
together.
Give me.
I like it. I got you.
Yeah,
I like
Carlos. Where can they find the Sipp N-Chatt?
SIPPNCHATT on Instagram. SippN-Chatt.com is the website where you can go and find the Instagram link and also the merch store or the closet, as we like to call it. To get t-shirts like this one that I'm rocking today.
Randy's Closet.
SIPPNCHATTANOGA, SippNChattanooga@gmail.com. If you want to reach out, if you may have a story that you want to share with us or you want to come on the show and be a part of what we're doing right here. It's a movement. We're a brand.
And lastly, we're going to shout out our sponsors again. Rise Chattanooga at 2901 Taylor Street. Boom Market at 2420 Glass Street. Old Post Beverage, 3472 Battlefield Parkway. And go check out Nooga Podcast at www.noogapodcast.com. Shout out to Clint Powell.
Clint, where you at, Clint?
He's coming.
Is he coming?
There you go.
There he is. What's going on, baby? Come talk to us. You got anything going on? Nope.
Nooga Podcast. Podcast is plural. Nooga
Podcast.
Podcasts.
22 podcasts. Everybody can find. I share mine.
23.
23. Now,
nothing going on.
No.
You got the event on the 20th.
Oh yeah, the 20th, June 20th. I don't know when this will come out. June 20th. I am doing speaking at a men's breakfast at Cross Path Church in East Ridge. I don't talk about religion or God much. I do on podcasts. It's really weird when you do this. It's way different. You do it in front of people, and you're bearing your underbelly a little bit there. It's weird.
So, yeah,
you're good.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
You notice how I stopped.
Yeah, you was close. You was pretty close.
But thank y'all for letting me jump in here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Way, brother.
No.
Appreciate you.
Because of you, we're gone video. Our last episode, I think the last time I checked, we were at like 78 or 79 views.
Oh, good.
Which is crazy because usually we get that many on the streaming part of it, right? The audio. The audio, I think, is right at like 16 or 17 now, but the YouTube channel is killing it.
Good. Well, it's about time. You guys, you got a good thing going on here. So, yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
happy to be helping a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So shout out. This is shout out for y'all listening and viewing us now. Stay tuned to the next episodes of Sipp N-Chatt. 2 P's, 2 T's, and we're out.